Hello, I'm Teresa Clancy. You can call me Terry. I am a wills and estate planning attorney, and I have created this video series to help motivate you move estate planning from your to-do list to your completed list. This video, I am going to talk about probate. What is it, and why would you want to avoid it? So probate is a court system set up to give a judge authority to distribute deceased people's stuff. And not every asset or stuff that people own triggers probate court, and not every person's estate has to go through probate court. In Illinois, there are two situations that trigger probate court, or two types of property. One is any real estate, even a parking space can trigger probate court. And the other is any assets worth in aggregate, so altogether, worth more than $100,000. And that excludes things that are identified with a beneficiary, like life insurance and retirement accounts. So what would typically be included are stocks and bonds, bank accounts, businesses, and plenty of other assets. And so all of those things totaled up would need to be in value of more than $100,000. And either one of those situations could trigger a deceased person's assets to go through probate court in order to be distributed to beneficiaries. There's my dog Pepper. And so why would you want to avoid probate court? Well, first of all, it's expensive. A probate court filing usually is done by an attorney, and probate attorneys charge by the hour, which is typically around $350 and more. And so that can add up pretty fast, equaling well over the amount that you would have paid for an estate plan that the goal is to try to avoid probate court. In addition to it being expensive, a probate court is also slow moving in its distribution of assets. It seems like probate was set up in order for creditors to get paid. So at the very least, a probate action is delayed by 6 months to give creditors time to file actions against the deceased person's estate. But more likely, probate takes 9 months to a year and more for the distribution to your beneficiaries. So it's expensive to go through probate court, and it takes a while to get through it. In addition to that, everything is public. So unlike trying to avoid probate court, where nobody really knows what assets you have and who's going to receive them, if it has to go through probate court, everyone's going to know, or at least anyone who's interested can find out through digital dissemination of that information through the probate court system. And finally, probate doesn't really save any time from your family members. In fact, it adds to an inconvenience, because even though it sounds like a lawyer is going to take care of everything, they really aren't. Somebody's going to be identified as the executor of the estate who is not the attorney, and that person, typically a family member, is going to have to gather all your assets and do all of the paperwork that is necessary for gathering it and distributing it. And then on top of that is the layer of an attorney dealing with the court system. So you're going to be adding work for your family if you don't set your assets up in order to avoid probate court. And then finally, probate court is just a hard situation to be in. And it sometimes really does bring out the worst in families. I have seen where children who didn't get along in childhood continue to not get along during the probate action and use their parents' money to duke it out with their sibling. And nobody benefits from that. And I'm not quite sure why the court system brings out the worst in people on very many occasions, but it just does. So if you can avoid your family's situation being exposed to a court system, you're better off doing that. One caveat is that a lot of people believe that a will helps to avoid probate court, but really a will is good, but it does not help to avoid probate court. The one main way to avoid probate court is by using what's called a revocable trust. And if you want to find out more about wills or revocable trusts, look for my videos about either one of those topics, and that will give you some more information. Well, I hope you've learned a little bit more about probate court, if not a lot more, and creating an estate plan to avoid probate court is now your motivation, and you can get things set up by contacting me or continuing to watch additional videos to get better informed and perhaps persuade you to create that estate plan. Well, until the next video, see ya.